What's up, Revolution partners? James Zhang here. If you're watching this on replay, put hashtag replay so I know that you were here. I'm going to give it around 30 seconds or so. And let me know, by the way, where you are coming in from. And I'd love to say hello, but put in the chat where you're coming from. This is James. I'm out here in San Diego. Hope you're amazing. If you are watching this live, do me the favor, put this into the Revolution Partners Messenger chat, because I got a message that every one of us are going to want to hear. It's going to transfer your business, going to transfer your life. I'm very expectant about that, So Darlene, great to see you. How are you? How are you? Who else do we got in here as well too? All right. Make sure this is good. Got to make sure all my setups are right and everything. Susan, hello. What's going on? Great to see you as well too. Hey, glad to have you. What's up? Hope you're well. Hi. We're going to give it around 30 more seconds and we're good. So who else do we got here? Let me know in the chat where you're coming in from too. And we'd love to say what's up. I'm grateful to have you guys. All right. Good morning, Donna. How are you? Great to have you. Sweet. Darlene from Edmonton. Awesome. Great to have you. Jennifer, what's going on? If you haven't yet shared this into the Revolution Partners group, let's do that. And we'll get started. If you are watching on replay, then we're going to get started as soon. Florida. What's up, Florida? Awesome. San Clemente. Hey, I know, we're neighbors, right? Okay. Well, let's get this off the ground. But got a question for you today. I'm wondering, have you ever been in a team situation that was a little bit messy? Maybe it was something in your family, you had a family reunion, and it was supposed to be amazing, and then drama happened. Or maybe it's been in a work situation where you were trying to work with somebody, and then just things weren't clicking. What I want to talk about today, it's in the tagline of Partner Co., is how to be better together. And I believe that if you take what it is that we're dropping to you today, you're going to see better relationships, better business, and explosive growth like you've never had. Enjoy exceedingly. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, put a me in the comments below. And I'm going to share with you a story that I've never shared before. Well, let me go through a history lesson here. Hey, Lysias, great to see you. Partner Co. has been up for a little over a year and a half. What's up, Angel? Great to have you. And the backstory is quite fascinating. I'm going to unveil some things behind the scenes if you want to know now. Partner Co. now is number one in momentum. Partner Co. now is a $350 million company rapidly growing towards the billions. Partner Co. now is breaking records in a time in our profession where many companies are folding, crumbling, unfortunately. Partner Co. is exploding. And there's a backstory to how that happened. Any single time you see something magical, you see a relationship, a marriage that's magical, you see a family that's magical, you see a business that's magical, there was a story behind that. If you'd like to hear the backstory, put story in the chat below. So we've been involved in this profession for 15 years. We've been with the company that promoted these drops for 13 years. Me and Becky got an opportunity to hear about this company back when it was a pre-launch idea, back in 2011, when there was a name and that was it. If you don't like the website now, you should have seen our website in the beginning. Like, it was horrible. But we partnered with that company and we were there for 13 years. Amazing times, ups, downs, all the rounds, made great friends and everything. And what happened was that company went through a troubling time. And we were put in a position where the company went bankrupt. Not because of, it was because of just bad management that we did not know about. We were literally at a convention saying, we're going to rule the world. The next week, we find out we're filing Chapter 11 bankruptcy as a company. And now we're in a fight or flight position. Who here, by the way, has been in a position in your life that's put you into a fight or flight mode? I put a me in the comments below. Maybe it was in your marriage. Maybe it was in your previous profession. Maybe it was whatever that it was. So now we're like, oh my gosh, what's going on? And I believe it was a gift from God, because what ended up happening is all the bad went away. The debt went away. The wrong associations with the wrong people. Long story short, there was a CEO that came into the mix that was pretty much a crook. And that entity did go bankrupt. And all of a sudden, John Wadsworth, who we kind of knew, John, if you don't know, our now owner, John was the top money earner of Mirinda, which sells our amazing Noni products. He was there since the beginning. His uncle was the one that founded Mirinda. So John came in as a rep and he bought the company. And he brought with him a guy that we did not know, a guy which we now know is Darren Zobrist. So here's two people. We have no idea who they are. We have zero trust. Our businesses are on the line. We're scared. We're frantic. We don't know what's going on, but we're thrown into this mix. And we're like, well, either we leave or we're going to try to build this thing. Everything that we had known to be true in 1 second was not true. And we were put in a place where we all had to make a decision. I know. Cindy McKnight knows this story and her situation very well. So we had this meeting before Partner Co. was known as Partner Co. Many people did not make the shift because they were too traumatized. They were too hurt. And I remember we had an impromptu meeting with 20 field leaders that came together and said, what are we going to do? Tim Sales, our master distributor, Coach Palmer, Christine McKay, like a lot of the people that you know. And we came together and we had a meeting and we said, what are we going to do? And through that came a couple of points I want to drop to you. That because of that meeting and because of what happened, and because of being better together, this company is what it is today. People's businesses are blowing up way better than it was before. And what looked like was the worst thing that could have happened ended up being the best thing that can happen as well too. Revolution Partners, I want to drop these for you. And if you take this, it's going to change your life. It's going to change your life. I want you to be on the other side where you're truly better together. Not everyone made it, but those that did these things did make it. Okay. So number one in collaboration is to open your heart again. Jim Rohn said this in this business. He said that this business sometimes is kind of like herding cats. You know, dogs are easy, but cats, they got their own mind, right? They're kind of going in their own routes, right? Who here has already experienced this? You don't have to name a name, but you follow the system, you launch your business, you're starting to get some partners, and you're like, oh my gosh, where is everybody? What are they doing? Right? Put it in the comments if that's happened before. You're like, they all got their own minds. It's like, man, this is going crazy. And like, how do I get this all together? All right. So this business can be beautiful. Network marketing. Who wouldn't want the promise of having hundreds and thousands and tens of thousands of people collaborating, all doing a little bit, right? John Paul Getty, the billionaire, said, I'd rather, instead of me doing 100% of the work by myself, I would rather have 100 people doing 1% of the work. We all want that dream. Cindy said, cats are a-holes. She has one. Hey, that comes from a cat lover. There it is. So who here knows it's easier to do things alone. It is. Just watch a cat. They don't care. It's like they're watching, they're doing their life. But there's a saying that if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. There's power in this. So how do you actually develop this collaborative heart? So I go back to the point, open your heart again. Let's be real. We've all been through things that have broken our hearts. We've all been through traumas. Some of us have been through divorces and it's hurt the heart. Some of us have been through family issues, dysfunctional families, which most of us come from dysfunctional families, by the way. Some of us have had fractured relationships in your team. I've had 90% of our leaders leave us. And these were people that were in our wedding. These are people that we grew up with. We've all had fractured relationships where when we had an open heart, it came back and it bit us, and there's a thorn there. It's painful to be in relationship. It's hard to collaborate because people hurt people, usually not intentionally, but because we're all broken, right? Hey, if you're in a relationship, have you unintentionally hurt someone before? Ask my wife. She'll tell you all the time. I want to be an amazing husband, but I do the most silly things that hurt her. So we're all learning this thing. So when we're in that boardroom with these 20 leaders, all of us were hurt. All of us were on running on fumes. All of us, our lives, our businesses, our teams were at stake. But we had to make a decision to open our heart one more time. One more time. The same wall that keeps out disappointment is the same wall that keeps out joy. You have to realize that life, you get the mix. If you want an amazing business, if you want an amazing team, there will come with it the opposite side of the mix. There's a duality in life, but it's more beautiful. The beauty far outweighs the pain. No pain, no gain. So we have to be willing to open our heart again. We have to be willing to let people in again. We have to be willing to trust again. We have to be, we're wiser now though, aren't we? We kind of have. If you've been hurt before, you know what's on the flip side of pain and trial in a relationship? You gain some wisdom, don't you? Cindy said scar tissue. You get some insights now, right? You get some, you have some clarity. You can kind of detect people's character a little bit better. You're kind of a little bit wiser with things. You don't just jump into the relationship as much. You're a little bit mindful. You're aware, right? Which is good, which is important. But don't let the pain of the past withhold you from the joy of the future. We are better together. It's a biblical principle. Man was not meant to be alone. It's actually one of the worst ways to torture someone. Solitary confinement. So in a collaborative environment, if you want the benefit of collaboration, we must be willing to let our heart be open again. If you're okay with that, you're in a safe space here, okay? If you're willing to do that, put in the chat, I'm open. I'm open. Cindy and Lindsay did that when they trusted this one more time. Every single one of you here did that when you said one more time. Angel Whitmire and James Leonard just did that. They did an incredible leadership move of which I have so much respect. If you don't know what just happened, Angel and James, they lead an incredible team with amazing leaders. And when they came into this business, they were just running and they built their own systems and they had their own machine and they had their own groups, which is amazing. But they made the decision to say, you know what? We're better together. And they said, we're going to lean in and we're going to let go of our machine. We're going to let go of our list and we're going to trust and come together. They're in this team, but now they're all synergized, them and their team. They open their heart again. and there's blessing in there. Much respect. Huge. So open your heart again. So at that boardroom table, we're like, all right, guys, there's a lot of mess in this heart. Okay. And it's not always pretty, but we open it again. Number two, how do you be better together? Agree on a common goal. Agree on a common goal. The only way to get over our individual issues when you're collaborating is by agreeing on something greater. That's what gets you through. Me and my wife have a rule. Our rule is if we're ever in a discussion, fight, argument, I don't know what you call it, but we call it a fight discussion. Whenever you're in that, we never go to bed without resolving that. And the reason we say that is why? We're like, we both want the same thing. We already know. We want an amazing marriage. So if one of us goes to bed and we're not forgiving each other and we're still mad at each other, it's not just going to go away. So we know there's a common goal. The way to get over hurt and pain is you agree on the same thing. We're on the same team. We might express ourselves in different ways, but we're on the same team. We're in that boardroom, 20 leaders. We're all scared. We don't know what's going to happen in the future. We don't know John and Darren. But you know what we all did know? We said, regardless of what happens, we all want the same thing, which is, of course, we want to build a business for our families. But more than that, we want to build an amazing home for all of our people now and the people to come. That was our goal. That was our goal. So the leaders came together and they said, we all share that same thing. So even though we don't know the future, even though we don't know what's going to happen to this company, whatever, we're sticking together because we're on the same mission. In this team, we're on the same mission. We're on the same mission to bring these amazing products around the world to transform people's lives. We're on the same mission to be able to help transform people in their finances, to help the mom at home that needs $500 a month to pay for rent, to pay for groceries. We're on the same mission here, aren't we? Put in the chat, I'm on the same mission. We're on a mission to revolutionize how this profession is done. This team, it's called the Revolution because we're revolutionizing digital marketing and affiliate marketing and network marketing. This team is bringing in systems like the machine and automations so that you can show up being a human again. We're bringing the human back into business. We're making this profession fun again. And we are showing a different level of growth than what was thought to be possible. We're building a business where you can actually have your cake and eat it too, where you can actually develop an amazing income and a scalable business, but still have a life. That's the mission. So you have to agree on a common goal when you collaborate. You say, we're going in the same direction. Okay. So you open your heart again. You agree on a common goal. And here's the fun work to it. We must protect this culture. We must protect this culture. Beautiful things, magical things become targets. There's a crab in a bucket mentality in the world sometimes. Who here has had this experience? You said yes to this business. You were super fired up. And all of a sudden, your negative neighbor, your negative friend, your negative social media hater, your negative family started to pull you down. Like, you can't do that. That's one of them things. You tried that before. It didn't happen before. What makes you think you could do this? And oh my gosh, it's like crazy. When you stand up for something good, the opposite will try to take it down. Why? Because your success will prove that their excuses and their belief was wrong. Say that again. Why are people so negative against us sometimes? It's because we're showing them we're doing things different. We're showing them there's a different way to live. We're showing them that you can change. We're showing them that you can produce something amazing. So it's easier, instead of changing, it's easier to throw dirt to try to cover it. Oof. So the next time, by the way, someone tries to throw dirt at you, just shove it off. It's fine. Just know it's like, well, they just can't stand me shining right now. That's okay. So it's a beautiful culture of being better together. It's a beautiful culture that we have of blurring the lines of sponsorship. I remember in that room, the 20 leaders, Coach Brent Palmer, so much respect. He holds the baton and he says, like figuratively, and he says, we're going to blur the lines of sponsorship here. It doesn't matter. Let's just build the biggest company. It doesn't matter if you're upline, downline, crossline, whatever. We're on the same team, the same dream. Let's all help each other. Wow, that's new. That's very uncommon, by the way. That's why you see people that are attracted to PartnerCo. They have that same spirit. That's why you see the leaders that are here, every one of you, you have that same spirit. That is a unique culture that PartnerCo has, but also in this team that we have as well too. So something so great and so beautiful is something that we also need to protect. How do you protect it? How do you protect it? Number one, check ourselves. Am I living in this collaborative spirit? We have to be very careful. We're all human. But am I living in collaboration? For example, are there things that I've been offended by that have been carrying on me? Well, my upline said something to me and it crossed me wrong. Well, this teammate is getting more attention than I am. Why is that? Like, these things happen because we're in relationships, and this is a very real thing. But you know what I realized? And this happened to me many times. You should see my coaching conversations. My wife, Becky, she's seen some of these, and coaches aren't always perfect because they're not. I've been told some things that have been very deeply hurtful. But you know what I realized? I said, you know what? It's okay. I'm on the same mission. I know where they're coming from. We're here to build the biggest thing ever. And I'll step up and I'll give the benefit of the doubt. I'll forgive because I got to build my business, right? I got to build my life. And it's okay. We have to lead from the front with a collaborative culture. So number one, I check myself on this. Number two, I'm not also saying just let it be though, okay? In a healthy relationship, there's communication. You should see there was some very fierce dialogue in that boardroom. Christine McKay, our general manager, I've never seen her pissed, so passionate in my life. She stood up and she's like, she's like the heartbeat of North America, right? And she's like, tears are flowing down her face. She's like, she's like addressing things that she feels are unjust and just like speaking her mind. It's important that to protect the culture, that we are communicative. Right? Don't just take things. Don't let it be suppressed. Now, we have different people here and the way that you address situations. Who here is the type that you're like me? You're more of a turtle, that you hold things in, right? Put a 1 in the comments if you're more like a turtle type of person. Everything's okay, but I'm just kind of keeping it on the inside. There's the other side where you're the volcano. I put it to you in the comments, you're the volcano. No filter, whatever comes to my mind, it's coming out. You take it how it is, I bomb, right? There's refinement on both ends. So some of us are more the turtle side. Some of us are more the volcano side. Guess what? Typically you marry the opposite, right? Becky's more the volcano, I'm the turtle. So we neither are going to create a collaborative culture. We need both sides to be able to have healthy communication. The number one killer I've noticed of major teams is miscommunication. That's it. We miscommunicated. So if we know that, we have to be willing, as we're protecting culture, we have to be willing to have these crucial conversations. So I want to encourage you. We're collaborating together, right? This isn't a dictatorship. What I love about this team and this environment It's super across the board. Everyone can talk to everybody. But we have to protect this. So what I mean, if something crosses wrong in a situation and it's on your heart, first I check myself. But let's say there's something that crossed wrong. I'm going to talk to that leader. I'm going to have a open-hearted conversation. I'm not going to demean them. I'm not going to condemn them. I'm not going to criticize them. I'm just going to bring it up. I had this happen the other day. Another amazing leader came at me kind of the wrong way, and it crossed really wrong, and I was working through it, and I'm like, so I ended up addressing it. I'm very uncomfortable. I'm not non-confrontation, but I'm like, why? This is not the culture that we have in this company. This is not the culture we have in this team. So because I saw something that was not conducive to the culture, I need to, if I want to protect the culture, I got to talk about this. And they gave a suggestion. So I'm like, hey, this is what happened. This is how it made me feel. I know it wasn't intentional probably, but if I would suggest the next time this happens, why not try it this way? This will work better for me. Right, so I communicated like that. I feel better, they feel better, and everything. Okay. So be the one to bring things up. Be the one to protect the culture. Don't be the one to beat it over people, but be the one to communicate and to have dialogues and conversations. It's hard, but it's magical if done right. Okay. So with that said, how do you become better together? How do we continue to have an amazing culture? Number one, be willing to open your heart first. Allow other people in. Number two, agree on the common goal. And number three, protect the culture, right? Create those spaces, create those boundaries. I remember at the end of that board meeting, we still weren't sure exactly what was going to happen, but we came out together. And 6 months later, Partner Co. came together. The brand was amazing. The direction was amazing. We hired on amazing people like Mark Patterson for branding. We hired amazing people like Katie Holt Larson, Chief Impact Officer. Now the company is just growing. And we have such an amazing culture and a company that's breaking records. And those at that boardroom table that allowed themselves, while hurt, to adopt this better together spirit and applied those things I just shared, everyone's businesses are way better than where they were before. In this team, let's continue to move forward. In this team, that's what Angel Whitmire and James Leonard just did as an amazing, spectacular example. Think to yourself, how do I apply this in my team right now, in my leadership right now, in my future leadership? And I promise you, if you do this hard thing, the magic on the other side of collaboration is so much more fruitful. All right, everybody. So if you're willing to accept this message and you're going to be the one to say, let's go do this, like put in the chat, I accept. I accept. This requires all of us together to do this. And that's one big reason why this team, we're going to be the number one team in the world, because the culture is one of the most beautiful. All right, everyone. We love you so much. We are so honored to partner with you. This ride is just beginning. Just you wait to see what's going to happen. All right, everyone. On that, have a blessed one. I'll talk.